The a brand new film from Universal that is just hitting theaters. The film is written and directed by the great Christopher Nolan. The film is also based, of course, on the poems of Homer. The film stars Matt Damon as Odysseus as we follow him after the Battle of Troy as he tries to make a big, fantastic voyage back home, but it takes years and years and years and a lot of trials and tribulations. People are dying left and right and kind of guessing to himself, is it good for him to return back home? He's stuck on an island for the majority of that time with Calypso, played by Charlize Theron. He also has a son, played by Tom Holland, Telemachus, who is figuring out if he is going to be the person for the throne. He's never met his father, while he's also discussing with his mother, Penelope, Damon's wife, played by Anne Hathaway, who's deciding on if her son should take over the throne or should she remarry to the bunch of suitors who are now living at his kingdom. One of them includes Robert Pattinson's character. The film is a stacked ensemble, which includes Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Benny Safdie, John Leguizamo, John Bernthal, Himesh Patel, Mia Goth, Elliot Page, and Samantha Morton. The film is 2 hours and 52 minutes and is rated R. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new review here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinenberg. We're talking the Odyssey. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, of course. I am, of course, as it seems a lot of people are, massive fans of Christopher Nolan. The Dark Knight really changed my life, the way I look at movies and filmmaking and everything. It's my favorite movie of all time. And Nolan is one of my two or three favorite filmmakers ever, especially working right now. Him and Denis Villeneuve are my two favorite filmmakers by a mile at the moment. And so I get very excited every time Chris Nolan has a brand new movie. I was a big fan of Oppenheimer. I just want to be honest, I am not someone who's like super familiar, knows ins and outs of the poems by Homer. I read the Odyssey when I was in maybe eighth grade, ninth grade. I forget what year, but it was either middle school or high school where I read the Odyssey. I saw the original, the films that have been based on the poems. But I am not someone who's like nose deep, knives into knowing the knowledge and the mythology and anything like that. So that was my expectation level going in, and I thought the Odyssey absolutely delivered. Epic is going to be a word I use a lot, and many other reviewers use with this movie because this film is so amazing from a filmmaking and technical perspective. For how larger than life this movie is, it has so many and really is all practical sets, no CGI being used. And I think the one thing that has made Nolan so special compared to any other filmmaker, maybe other than Villeneuve, is his movies feel larger than life, huge scale, shot in IMAX. It just feels massive. But what his films do a really good job at is grounding things in reality. He's made movies like The Prestige, The Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, Tenet, right? Where you're dealing with a lot of sometimes mythology, sometimes with fantasy elements, comic book stuff, right? That is not tangible, is not real. Like it's not a real situation that can happen in real life. But what he has done in all of those films, and that includes the Odyssey, because we obviously have like a Cyclops in here, we have gods, we do have like of course, a lot of fantasy stuff in here. It never feels unrealistic. Everything feels tangible, real, and very grounded. And I think that is what the secret sauce is to Nolan. Unbelievable looking movies, grand, epic, larger than life, but the story is still very focused on character, quiet moments, and grounding these characters in reality, even though, again, this movie is based in myth. This still all feels tangible and real. And that is, I think, also what makes the Odyssey very special. The production design, the sets are glamorous. The filmmaking is on display. It's just incredible. Ludwig Göransson, I think, is going to either win the Oscar or at least be nominated again for another Christopher Nolan score after Oppenheimer. I'll say this, the score used during the Hades sequence is one of my favorite score sequences. Probably is so far here in 2026. It is an amazing music that Göransson uses. And again, there's a reason why he's one of the best composers of the last 15, 20 years. He is so great composing the score again. The movie also has an unbelievable ensemble here at display. And Matt Damon, who of course is one of the most famous known actors of the last 30 years, brings it here once again. This is definitely one of Damon's best performances of his career because you really do care about Odysseus, his journey. You understand his devotion to his family, his devotion to where he is. Troy, Greece, his devotion to that, his devotion to his men, kind of the unselfishness of that, but also understanding when he can lose his ways and how to regain trust in the people the people that love him. Very powerful stuff. And I was watching and thinking to myself, I didn't know going in how much I would deeply care about the majority of the characters in this movie. But I, especially with Odysseus, deeply cared about his character. And Matt Damon, from a physical perspective, obviously from his acting and emotional stuff, really delivers in this movie. Tom Holland, I also think, is very good. Is he like one of my favorite performances in the movie? I wouldn't say that, but he's also very good in this movie because he's another character who's kind of a boy at the beginning of the movie, not really understanding his place. He's kind of, everyone makes fun of him. He kind of seems like a loner, but his character evolves as the movie going. And it's not really just the script, it's the performance, gradually seeing someone come into their own, have their own beliefs, and be brave enough to say that publicly and have action to it. And Tom Holland's very good in that way. Robert Pattinson is going to be like from a fun perspective, is the most fun performance. He's my second favorite in the movie. He is fantastic playing a slimy chicken crap person that you want to beat the crap out of the entire movie. He understands the type of over the top nature this character needs because this is a character who you want to see dethroned and killed by the end, and you're rooting against him so much. All comes down to that performance, and Pattinson really brings it. I also want to say from a performance perspective, Samantha Morton, who plays Cersei, there's one big sequence with her in the movie. She is fantastic in this movie and should be getting a lot of love. But then, again, I could go on for days because this is such a stacked ensemble, but everyone is really great in this movie. And I was on the edge of my seat. It's a 3 hour movie. I was never bored, never really felt like that super, super long of a movie like a 3 hour movie is, just like I felt about Oppenheimer. It's just so epic in scale. And it just feels like this, out of all movies you'll see this whole year, needs to be seen on the biggest screen yet. Now, I will say, for me, there are two minor negatives which won't make it like a 5 out of 5 movie for me. And that's how you know how much I love this movie. The first one is this movie has a non-linear storytelling. We're kind of bouncing back and forth between different timelines, different characters. And I would say 75% of it worked for me. There is like a 25% of this non-linear stuff that doesn't work because there are times where I get so sucked into a particular timeline and plot, and either we have to go back in time, forward in time, or to a completely different subplot. Like there are points where I'm really connected to Matt Damon and what he's doing. Then we have to cut back decades later to Tom Holland's subplot. And even though it's an enjoyable plot line, I was feeling the momentum of one, and then it would kind of, I would have to like catch myself up that this is the direction now they're going with this plot line. That's a minute negative. The other one is the first, some people are complaining about how the pacing is slow in the first like 25, 30 minutes. I don't think it's slow. My biggest issue with the first 25, 30 minutes is that they give you a lot of dense exposition. All of the super dense exposition flies at you in the first 25, 30 minutes, and you really have to pay attention to the dialogue and what characters are saying to grasp what is going on. I do think they throw way too much at you really early in the movie. I think they could have spaced that out a little bit better, but this is definitely going to be in my top 10 movies of the year. Christopher Nolan delivers another just fantastic piece of film that I can't wait to rewatch for years to come. I'm giving The Odyssey, which just came out this week, a 4.5 out of 5, a 92% for The Odyssey. Let me know your thoughts, guys, on this movie down in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to Max Talks Movies YouTube and Patreon. Patreon helps me support to get more stuff, as well as my YouTube channel. We're closing on 500 subscribers. So help me get there, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video very soon.